And thank you for tuning in to KPSU, Portland's college radio station. I am your host, DJ Rochelle. Thank you for tuning in to Live Fridays. And I have to remind you, as always, that the views and opinions expressed in the following program do not necessarily represent KPSU, Portland State University, or any of our participating affiliates. Listener discretion is advised. Okay, you've been warned. We can continue on. This is Live Fridays, and we have a wonderful band that is all warmed up and ready to go and ready for you to hear them live. But first, we're going to thank the people that helped make this station possible and tell you about some cool stuff going on around town. So stay tuned for that. Okay, a little bit of a technical issue there with some of our PSAs, but instead we are just going to go right into the show and introduce the wonderful band that is ready to perform for you live here in the KPSU studios. Here is Foxglove.
All right. This song's called Solid Gold. Thanks, guys. Thunderous applause from the sound booth over there. This song is called Bones. It's on our new EP that just came out. There's nothing there but some broken bones. Don't you say that we didn't try. You can't say that we didn't try. This old dog, he's still learning new tricks. But good boys still finish last round here. And you left when it all fell apart. Your bags and you packed your broken heart. There's nothing there but skeletons. There's nothing there but some broken bones. Don't you say that we didn't try. You can't say that we didn't try.
All right, let's catch your breath for a second there. First of all, before we get too far, thank you for being here. And can you just do like a quick round of introductions, what you play?
Yes.
And your name?
Sure.
So go for it.
I'm Rose. I am the bass player.
I'm Joss. I play guitar and sing.
Joss, there's a mic in front of you could use.
There's the mic. Hi. I'm Joss. I play guitar and sing.
I'm Eli, and I play the drums.
Yeah, he does.
Right on. All right. Well, how did you guys meet and get to know each other and become a band?
So this is it's an epic tale, but essentially, Fawkes has been around for a couple of years, but in this iteration for about a year. Met Rose through a mutual friend. She had never played bass guitar before, and decided that it would be fun to try it. And then, after our drummer left, I called my dad. And I was complaining like, oh, I don't know what we're gonna do. We lost another drummer. And Eli is drummer number 5, but my dad just happened to know him, and he had been holding out on me the whole time. So met Eli in a coffee shop, and the rest is history, as they say.
So, Rose, what made you decide to pick up the bass?
I had a friend who asked if I knew how to play bass, and I said no. And he said, "Do you want to learn?" And I said, "Sure." And then I showed up, and they were like, "Cool, you can stay in the band." So here I am.
Easy.
Right on.
Easy as that.
Okay. Well, tell me a little bit about what band practice is like. What's happening there? How much is hanging out and how much is playing?
I'd say it's 70-30. I'd say 30% playing and 70% YouTube clips and just laughing hysterically at nothing. We practice in Eli's barn, and it's basically a treasure trove of random objects and magazines, and there's an old Volkswagen in there.
Yeah, I keep an old Volkswagen in the barn. You know, it's good luck.
It's good aesthetic too. It's
Yeah.
cool. It's a classic Volkswagen, so it looks cool.
Right on. I'm surprised that isn't part of your band pictures.
It should be. Maybe next one.
Probably.
Yeah.
Maybe.
No promises.
Yeah.
I'm promising right now, on the record.
Okay. I like the little extra emphasis since we did not give your drummer a vocal mic, and so I feel like that's his way of chiming in now.
Yeah, just like smash some cymbals when you're ready to.
Right on. Well, tell me about the latest album you just put out.
Oh yeah. So we recorded with our friend Nick in his basement. I met Nick at a show. He's the drummer of a band called Marlet, and he asked if we had anything recorded, and I said no. And he said, "Come and record with me," and we did. And we recorded 7 songs in 48 hours, and it was the most exhausted I think we've ever been. There's a good picture of us on our Instagram of us just like laid out on the floor, kind of listening back to what we had just finished, and it's actually pretty accurate to how we felt at the end of it. And the EP is called How It Feels.
Nice. Tell me, what was that process like for you since you're new to playing the bass, actually recording this album?
Luckily, bass parts are easy, so for me, I just got to hang out a lot. But yeah, it was a really fun experience. I've never done anything like that. I did band in high school, like trombone mostly. So definitely different, but I don't know, it just felt more like a hangout sesh to me, I guess, but maybe it's because my parts were a lot easier. I didn't have to do a lot, so it was just a lot of fun. It was a lot of work, but it was a lot of fun. We made up that one song that we're going to be playing in the studio.
Yeah.
Like, we played it once and then recorded it.
Yeah, I had like a rough acoustic demo of our song, Father's Song, and I was just goofing around, and Nick said, "Are you going to record that?" And I was like, "I don't know, I just wrote it." And he was like, "You should record it." And so I played it for these guys, and we kind of, I don't know how it happened. We played it like 3 times and then recorded it, and it turned out really, really well. So.
All right, I'm going to pass the mic back to you and let you tell me about what it was like recording that and how it felt.
Yeah. Oh, I can. Great. I can even hold it. It was really fun. I like Nick. It's nice to work with somebody who also plays the drums because they have a lot of ideas, you know, good ideas about how to mic the drums and record them. And then we had recorded a secret demo that was direct to reels. It was all analog, and that process was pretty grueling, which I think, you know, most people who've done it can attest to. So it was nice to work with a digital setup too, actually, you know, just be able to listen to things quickly and not have to rewind a bunch of tapes to get, you know, to start a takeover. It was nice. It was great. Fun times.
Tell me about the song that he mentioned there, the father song.
Oh yeah, that one came together super, super fast. We started playing it live just after having recorded it, and we were like, boy, I think we've only played this like maybe 5 times total, including the time that we recorded it. But it's not unusual. I feel like we've got a pretty good rapport musically, and I think that it's not unusual for things to take shape quickly, but I think that we definitely got kind of lucky with that one. You know, I kept it pretty simple and to the point, and I think it worked pretty well. I was happy.
Nice. Josh, do you write most or all of the songs?
So half of the songs that were written came about when my friend John was in the band with us, and so he really helped kind of craft how those ones came out. And I used to be a bass player, and I started playing guitar, and then more complicated guitar for this band. And so John was pretty influential in helping me kind of get my chops up. But I read all the lyrics, and most of the songs started with a simple guitar riff that was hooky, and it builds from there.
Tell me about that one that came together so quickly, the father song. Wait.
Father Song is lyrics that I had from a previous band that mean a lot to me. It's a song about my dad and kind of seeing the world through his eyes. He's an old hippie who lives out in the mountains, you know, and every time we drive out there, it's like the suburban housing is getting like closer and closer, you know, so that's kind of what that song is about. And I wanted to bring that to this band too, because it's meaningful to me. And the music's way different now, but yeah, it's a cool song. It has slide guitar. I never played slide guitar before, and so I was like, let's try it, and it sounds cool.
How do you know when you're practicing something's going to stick? Like, obviously, the father song that he mentioned came together pretty tightly.
Honestly, you just kind of feel it. Like, there's times where we just noodle around, and then we're like, oh, that really worked out. One of us will just, like, Eli will start a drum beat, or Joss will start something, and then, I don't know, it feels like it clicks mentally, and then we all just kind of play off of each other, and then Joss is always like, wait, I have lyrics, because he has, like, 1,000 of them just stored up in his phone. So it's kind of an interesting process. Like, I don't know how much other bands put effort into it, but I feel like it comes together really effortlessly for us. Yeah.
Is there any songs that don't really work that you just feel like at some point we're working too hard on this, we need to ditch this?
I feel like we've had that with a couple songs, but we
Yeah.
always circle back around to them after like a show or two, and it just clicks suddenly, like one of us figures it out.
Yeah.
Yeah, to take the mic again, I feel like it's always me that ends up having the hardest time with a part coming together. So I like noodle around and pick apart little stuff. It always ends up being super simple by the end, but I just I try new stuff, and you know, eventually something ends up working out. But compared to them, they can write parts so quickly that work so well together, and then I feel like I'm always like, but wait, you know, it could be slightly different. It could be slightly different for months.
But good stuff always comes out of that too.
Yeah.
It's usually we'll find a part that wasn't working, and then all of a sudden, through the noodling of the drums, it's like, oh, okay, if we do that here, and maybe play this a little bit different, it's like locks it in, and then we're all super stoked about it. So.
So I'm going to ask you, since you're the one that's the pickiest, how do you know when a song is really done and you're ready to record it? I don't know. I think that they said it really well. Like they're like no other band really that I've been in. You know, we do try and rehearse a decent amount, and I think that helps. But a lot of times it just feels like something clicks into place, and you know, we'll play a song many, many times, and when it's finally finished, we're like, oh, okay, there it is, done. You know.
It's always surprising to us. Like we'll finish a song and like look at each other like, did we do it? Oh my God, we did! And they're like, that sounded like real music. That's so cool.
I love that there's that exchange where you just make the eye contact and you're like, yes.
Yep, and that was it. We did it. And then it really is a struggle to remember what we just did.
We never record it, so
Yeah. We need to get better at that.
All right. Well, what's the next song you're going to play?
Next on the list, what did we just play? This song is called How It Feels.
Ooh, is that not the name of your
It's the
new
title
album?
track, yeah. It's a
Okay.
good one.
How did you decide this was going to be the name of the album?
I think it's our favorite song that we always forget it's our favorite until we play it, and then we're like, oh, that was really good. So, and it, for some reason, I found myself writing a lot about like death and funerals for this album, and I'm a pretty positive person, so, but you know, it sounds cooler, and this song kind of inspired the album art, which is the three of us dressed in white ghost sheets, you know, classic, standing outside of an old barn, and I don't know, it just kind of has that whole vibe. So, double exposure, yeah.
All right. Well, I'll pick into more of those lyrics after we hear some more songs. So let's hear this one.
Sounds good.
There's a man in black selling coffins by the road. He said you better get yours before you get too old. I've never been good at making plans, leaving things like that to those better men with heavy hearts and offshore bank accounts, rusty old machines built to watch the world burn down. Well, tell me how it makes you feel to lose another one. Tell me where you wanna go, baby, get your coat, let's get out of here. I was standing in the rain when the lights went out. The sirens were like music, whatever his name is, for blessing me with love and friends to share it with. But the man in black knows what's good for business. He's moving on again. He's got wicked souls to visit. Tell me how it makes you feel to lose another one. Tell me where you wanna go, baby, get your coat, let's get out of here. Tell me how it makes you feel to lose another one. Tell me where you wanna go, baby, get your coat, let's get out of here. Whoa, whoa, whoa. Let's get out of here. Whoa, whoa. Let's get out of here. Whoa, whoa. Let's get out of here.
All right, this song's called Tell Your Friends.
You can tell your friends where to find us in the graveyard behind the church. You can tell your friends where to find us with the undertaker digging dirt. Bring your friends out tonight. You bring yours and I'll bring mine. Well, this fool was made for dancing. You can't tell by the lights. You can tell your friends where to find us, plugged in upstairs and making noise. You can tell your friends where to find us, out playing pinball with the boys. Bring your friends out tonight. You bring yours and I'll bring mine. Well, this fool was made for dancing. You can tell by the lights. Summer comes to an end. The nights are getting cold. Go grab that leather jacket. The heat wave was getting old. Bring your friends out tonight. You bring yours and I'll bring mine. Well, this floor was made for dancing. You can't tell by the lights.
You jumped right in though. I'm really proud of you. Good job.
That was some great energy, guys.
Thanks. It's hot in here. There's stage lights and
This is true. We're also, below basement level, so we're like way underground.
we got super rained on pulling gear out of the van, so we're just like damp and hot down here. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, which is, kind of how it goes for Portland typically.
Perfect.
Damp or hot or both. Okay, so shifting gears a little bit on you, let's talk about your gear. You've got this crazy effects pedal, which I know our sound engineer's chasing you a little on the board.
I'm sorry.
It's okay, but tell me what all you got going on here.
So the sound that I'm going for is kind of like that throwback rock and roll song or sound.
Sort of surfy.
Yeah, so I've got a reverb tremolo thing. It gives me that kind of warbly sound.
Yeah.
And I've got a little bit of a slapback delay just to kind of give it an extra little something. It's barely on. Like I could turn it off and you wouldn't even notice, but I can tell.
You could feel it.
And I've got a couple effects from this really, really cool company called Mythos Effects. I'm a huge Ghostbusters fan, and I have this fuzz pedal that's called the Positron Collider.
And you had to buy it just because of that.
Literally, yes, but also it sounds so good. Like, in the pedal collecting world, sometimes there are themed pedals that look real cool and they just sound like garbage, and you're just like, I gotta have it because it's cool. This pedal is functional and it gets rowdy and I love it so much. And then I got a couple of drive pedals just to give me some crunchies.
Nice. There is this very fancy thing that you said you really don't know much about that's hooked up to your bass player here.
Yeah. it arrived from space one day, and on a meteor. This is a Line 6 HX effects. It's all digital, and it surprisingly like sounds very warm. Like a lot of times with digital stuff, it can sound kind of cold. And our friend John, who was in the band,
Hey, John.
he set it up, and I used to have one too, but I couldn't figure it out, so I like sold that and then bought pedals that I understand. But it's great for what Rose is doing because it does exactly what she needs it to do, and eventually, if we need to change it, I'm sure that we can find YouTube videos or something. But
We can call John.
yeah, just
Is
FaceTime
that
him.
basically what happened, Rose? That you just called John and said, "Sure, I'll use this."
I mean, I don't even call John. Joss calls him.
Yeah,
Like, I'm not involved in this thing at all, except for touching it sometimes. But it's about
just
it.
tap dancing.
Yeah.
It's like you know enough just to use it, basically.
I know this button does this and this button does this, and that's all I have to know as a bass player. So that's about as technical as I get.
I love that something very high tech and has all kinds of fancy stuff. You're like, yeah, I know the 2 buttons.
Yeah, that's all you need, really, honestly.
That is
The rest does
great.
itself. It's fine.
Okay, now drummers I know sometimes can geek out about cymbals and all of the different stuff going on.
So fast.
So I will hand you the mic, but with caution. Don't spend the next hour talking.
Yeah, it definitely won't be an hour. It'll be like 20 minutes tops. So, also shout out to John. The shell kit on this drum kit is a Gretsch Renown that was inherited when Josh moved by Josh. Josh took it from John. Too many J names, guys.
Moved out of state.
Yeah.
And it was too expensive to take the drums with him, so he was like, "You guys."
Exactly.
Maybe I'll get him another time.
And I feel like the Gretsch Renown is a great kit for this band. I play a Tama Star Classic also, and it's another great drum kit, but this is definitely the right fit for this band. And what I changed about it was I got some really trashy, dirty sounding Byzance cymbals, which I am a huge fan of. And then I also like a really flat, muffled sound, so I put Evans hydraulics on all the heads for the most part. There's an Evans UV1 and a Power Stroke 3 on the kick. And then I also use some external mufflers, which are kind of dorky, but I really like them. They're from Germany. They're called Mr. Muff.
Aren't those tribbles?
Yeah, basically, essentially, yeah, they multiply. You get one, and then you're like, oh no, now I have 5. It's a problem.
We're also very, very nerdy. Like, we love Star Trek and like Dungeons and Dragons and stuff.
Big time. Speak a little bit of Klingon, of course.
Little carryover from Delta Bravo. I love that some of that characters fell through.
So that's actually you brought that up. I was here like 8 years ago.
Yeah.
With another band called Delta Bravo, and we were hanging out with Rochelle. We used to work at Netflix together.
Many moons ago, yes.
Super cool. So thanks for having it. It's good to see you again.
Yeah, it's good to see you too. It's like, not only have I not seen you since the plague, I've not seen you like even pre-plague.
Yeah, I know it's been a long time. But
Yeah, I was telling a friend about the 2 degrees of Portland that separate us on like multiple levels.
right? Yeah.
Do you have any of those with your bandmates that are like the 2 degrees of Portland?
Well, I mean, that's how we met Rose. So when I started really focusing on Foxglove, I wanted to try and do a 2-piece, but I'm not good enough guitar to pull that off. So, but my friend Graham put something on Facebook like, "Hey, I got a drum kit. Who wants to jam?" And I was like, "Oh, yes, let's do this." And then pretty quickly after that, we decided that maybe a bass player would be a good idea. And he was going to ask one of his friends. I know we kind of already went over this, but and then his friend said no, but Rose was literally standing right there, and he was like, "What about you, Rose?" And so that's how.
So they put you on the spot. That's what happened, is what I'm hearing.
I was an immediate except for that challenge.
I like that there was zero hesitation. You're like, sure, put me on the spot, and we're still going to do it.
Awesome, yeah.
That's great. Okay, going back to the lyrics and music here. You had mentioned how some of these songs are very dark. They have kind of a gothic-y, funeral-y feel in some ways, which I kind of wonder how much is that based on just living through the pandemic we have, and how much is just other influence?
Yeah, I mean, I wrote the lyrics for a lot of these songs during the pandemic, for sure. And I don't know, there's a certain amount of truth to all songs, you know. But some of it's like how it feels when we just played. The chorus is about having to go to like another funeral for like another friend that passed away, and just wanting to like not be there because it's the worst, right? So it's like, let's get out of here. But like I said, I'm a pretty upbeat and chipper guy, but I came up in the like hardcore emo scene, and so I feel like a lot of that kind of bleeds over into, I don't know, it fits well with kind of the bluesy rock vibe too. So
I also kind of wonder if, since you are such an upbeat, like happy person to be around, if this is sort of your outlet for those darker.
100%. I guarantee. I mean, like there was a time where I wasn't playing music, and my wife was like, "You need to be in a band because you're so grumpy all the time." So, yeah, it's definitely a huge outlet for me emotionally. It's my support hobby. It's not really a hobby. It's
Support hobby.
I don't know.
It's, you know,
It is what it is.
your
It's-
outlet.
It's a band. Yeah.
It's an artistic, creative thing that, as you mentioned, you get kind of grumpy and you don't have, like we had at Netflix, where people would literally hand you Red Bulls going next to you.
Yeah, the treat trolley. Or whatever.
Yes. Some things that I miss in life, just sitting at work and having someone roll by and literally hand you a Red Bull without even asking.
Working at home, you know, there's nobody ever brings Red Bulls on a trolley.
Right? It's like I have to actually get up myself. What is this? Okay, going back to the music though.
We can't.
Okay.
It's fine.
When you are sharing these lyrics with your bandmates, is there a discussion about some of it? Because you mentioned it is an outlet, but then I wonder how much do you actually talk about? Oh, Eli.
Things to say about that.
Before whatever Josh says that's true, I do want to add that a lot of times, even though we use the lyrics and the like syllables and the timing and the sound of it to fit parts together, you know, and you know, as cues like most bands do, it's difficult to play sometimes without the vocals. We also make up our own lyrics to almost all of the songs. So most of the time I will be like singing parody versions of his lyrics in my mind, which, I mean, it does lighten it up, I think, you know, maybe it detracts a little bit, but sometimes it'll be a long time before I one, learn the real words, and two, let them sink in enough that, you know, it becomes, you know, meaningful to me, you know, his intended meaning comes across.
There's good moments at practice because we face each other when we play at practice, and I'll see Eli's face, and I know that he's about to say it, and it's just, I don't know, it's good times. I'm trying to be serious, and he's over here singing hilarious things. It's true. It's true every time.
Okay, so Eli has his parody lyrics, which then makes me wonder, does he share those with you guys, or do you make up your own too?
Oh, we like Joel said, we all face each other, so I'll see Eli just mouth it. And so for the first, like, how long have I been in the band? 3 years? 2 years?
Yeah.
For the first, like, year and a half, I couldn't hear Joss ever singing, so I never knew the lyrics. So Eli's lyrics were the only ones I knew. But the plus side is we also have our parody band corner on lock already. So we don't even need a parody band. We were already our own, which is pretty cool.
Yeah.
I don't make any
Yeah.
up though. I'm not
We just
lyrically
need
smart
an
enough.
accordion.
But
Okay, go ahead and chime in. I see it.
No, I think they said it all. Yeah, we're definitely going to be our own parody band at some point, hopefully, with significant enough disguises, you know.
So you're kind of venturing from the Klingon Star Trek references over to the Weird Al range, is what I'm hearing.
It's much of a stretch, really. They're all in there all the time.
Okay. For those listening that are enjoying, where is the best place to find your music?
You can find us on pretty much all the streaming thingies. Fawkes Glove is Fawkes,
Like Guy Fawkes?
Fawkes, but actually way nerdier. It's Dumbledore's Phoenix in Harry Potter is named Fawkes, and that's where that came. I have a Fox statue in my collecting.
Okay,
thing,
so
and
we're gonna
turned
put.
around. I was like, oh, that's cool. Let's do something with that. So I'm outing myself a little bit.
Did you know this?
no, I did actually. So I didn't officially know it. It was just confirmed. But everyone who asked me like how you spell it, they're like, "Oh, Fox gloves, like the flowers. I love that." I'm like, "No, it's like Fox, like Dumbledore's parrot? What is it?
It's a phoenix.
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 Yeah,
It's kinda
sorry,
like a
it's
bird.
close enough.
I think you just discovered the fairy band.
Oh, okay. So there'll be a parrot and the statue next to the van in the barn, is what I'm
Yes.
visualizing now. Okay, great. Tell me a little bit about the next song you're going to play.
Let's see. What is the next song? Oh, this song is called Funeral Parade. This is Eli's favorite song. This is one of those
Shakes
songs
his
that
head.
is just, it's super fun, but we struggled for a while to like get everything to click in the way we wanted it to. And
Meaning me.
yeah, it's all Eli's fault. I think. It was one of the first songs that we kind of learned as the three of us here. So it's kind of special in that way.
Yeah. The more we
Very
play,
cool.
the more I like it.
Say it again.
It's really grown on me over time, actually. I had a tough time with this one for a long time, but I think the struggle made it more dear to me after a long time.
Yeah.
True.
This is when we were recording reel to reel, this is the one that we got stuck on, and we played it over and over and over and over again. And
There is something to say about the more you work for it, the more you appreciate it.
exactly. Yep.
So I get that. We're about 15 minutes out from top of the hour, so maybe this song plus one more, and then we'll let you plug all the things one more time and wrap it up.
That
Cool.
sounds great.
Okay, let's hear it.
Someone call the doctor. I think I'm bleeding now. She's applying pressure, but I still have my doubts. There's kerosene pumping through my veins, and you're the matchbook with some hell to pay. That's the way that it goes, keeps you on your toes. Easy does it now, we'll make it through somehow. Well, it's a nice day for a funeral parade. They're all dying to get here, just to get away. Na 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 na. Blackbirds are calling. Have you heard the news? There's a new religion. It's up to you to choose. There's nothing I stay to pay you respect. The pale rider's coming, and he always corrects. That's the way that it goes, keeps you on your toes. Easy does it now, we'll make it through somehow. Well, it's a nice day for a funeral parade. They're all dying to get here, just to get away. just to get away.
All right, we got one more. This song's called Prize Fighter. I'm ready. Are we ready? Everybody ready? All right.
I know you told me so. You were right all along, you know. Black eyes and whiskey breath, broken glass and cigarettes, nightlife on borrowed time. Leaving now 'cause I know you're mine. Nightlife on borrowed time. I'm leaving now 'cause I know you're. Whoa, she's got fire behind her teeth. When she speaks, she says just what she means. Prize fighter moves the match. She'll take you out and she's never gonna call you back. Heard your voice on the machine. No reply to a message seen. Long drives with windows down. Volume up just to hear the sound. I'm coming home with caffeine eyes. I'm leaving late but I'll make good time. Coming home with caffeine eyes. I'm leaving late, but I'll make it. Whoa, she's got fire behind her teeth. When she speaks, she says just what she means. Prize fighter moves the match. She'll take you out and she's never gonna call you back. Prize fighter with moves to match. 12 rounds without a scratch. Red lips and a slow wink. She stole my heart, so I bought a ring. Prize fighter with moves to match. Prize fighter with moves like that. Prize fighter with moves to match. Prize fighter with moves like. Whoa, she's got fire behind her teeth. When she speaks, she says just what she means. Prize fighter moves the match. She'll take you out and she's never gonna call you back.
Thanks so much, you guys.
I love the slow build on that.
That's That's a favorite. I think that's my favorite song.
Which is funny because you mentioned other favorites, like How I Feel.
It's like having kids. You just can't really pick your favorite. Or something like that.
Something like that. What makes something your favorite to play, though? Like, is a particular element?
Yeah, I mean, I just like to get rowdy on stage. So if there's a song that gets, it's like fast and loud, and there's room to, I don't know, dance around, then that's a solid one for me, I think.
What makes a song a favorite to perform for you?
Honestly, same. I mean, I hate to steal his answer, but like, I think that especially if they're played a little faster, they're all a little dancey, and it's just kind of, I don't know, it's just really easy to get into the groove and just enjoy it. And all the bass lines are just, they're not all written by me necessarily, but they're all really
Yeah,
fun.
they are. Now they are.
I've adjusted them. Yeah.
You've made them yours at this
Yes,
point.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll hand the mic.
Yeah, I agree with both of them. They're right. Yeah, yeah. I think that most people who have had experience playing music with other people can say that, like, sometimes when you play songs for a long time, you can get kind of bored with them. And I've not had that experience at all in this band so far. I feel like every once in a while a song kind of dusts itself off, and like we realize, like, oh yeah, that song really is amazing, you know? Like, it might not be my favorite all the time, but I feel like, yeah, there's like a lot of rotating favorites, you know? Yeah, for sure. Yeah, yep, definitely. And Rose does write a lot of the bass parts.
I love that you give her credit, too. That's good.
She's the best musician in the band now, like hands
Oh
down.
no.
Okay, so it looks like we've got about 5 minutes.
Okay.
So, real quick, just make sure we can plug all the things. You've got a Bandcamp and Spotify.
Yeah, so I think it's just bandcamp.com/FawkesLove, like you do. And then we're mostly on Instagram, so if you want to get a hold of us, that's how you do it.
But finding our music, like, it really is no understatement to say we're everywhere. If you want to, it's like YouTube, Apple Music, Spotify, anything you can think of, we'll probably be there.
Well said.
The radio.
Yeah, we've been on the radio a couple times.
A couple times. Of course, Bandcamp, today is Bandcamp Friday for anyone looking to download stuff.
Go download I think our album is free.
Or I think it's the Name Your Price.
Yeah, that's the one it is. So,
Yep.
25 cents to do it.
Yeah.
Just buy us a pop.
For those unaware, Bandcamp Friday, 100% of what you purchase on those days goes to the band. It doesn't go to anyone else.
Wow. Yeah,
So it's not
definitely
like,
go to Bandcamp and buy our EP so you can buy merch.
Yeah.
right.
If you want to get some t-shirts made.
Yeah, because any other day, Bandcamp takes their little cut too. So
Take a little bit. I noticed that. It's so weird.
you did mention merch. Do you have any upcoming merch you're working on?
Yeah, we have a couple of t-shirt designs. So I have this buddy in the Ukraine who was one of the first people to ever like us on Instagram, and just randomly he was like, hey, do you guys need design work? And that was, I don't know, 3 years ago maybe. And I just asked him to design a new kind of fox wolf guy for us, so we'll be making some t-shirts out of that pretty soon.
Right on. Do you have any physical copies of your music?
We don't. That's something that we're looking into, though.
Okay, things to come.
Yeah. Everybody knows a good way to do vinyl that isn't $1 million. Please let us know.
True, vinyl is not cheap. I will admit I'm one of those that's partial to it and will definitely pick it up at shows, but
That's the dream. I want.
I also know it's expensive to make.
Like, it used to be everywhere. Like, what happened? I don't know.
Yeah, it's okay, gonna date myself here. I could go to thrift stores and actually buy vinyl that was really cheap, and you can't do that now.
Yeah.
Yeah, not much at the Goodwill. All right, we've plugged all where they can find your music. Any upcoming shows or things that they should keep an eye out for?
Yeah, we do have a show coming up in April. I'm going to. My phone's off.
Mine off too.
Please check our Instagram. I can't remember the exact date. I think it's the 16th. But we're playing
That
with
sounds
our
right.
friend Bonnie Kyle and Mama Sam and the Jam. And that show is going to be at the Holocene. And it's going to be bonkers good. So
Those are some high energy bands to be paired with.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's going to be a lot of fun.
Should be a good time. Okay. Since we've got about 2 minutes left, just going to ask you a quick random question.
Yes.
First concert you ever went to?
Hootie and the Blowfish. Wow. I'm not proud of it, but and I got a hat to prove it.
Love the reaction from your drummer. He's like, wow.
I wish mine was Hootie and the Blowfish. My family's always been really involved in music and the music scene in the Northwest and beyond, and so I have no idea. One of the early ones that I felt really excited about was the Circle Jerks, which is a 80s hardcore punk band.
So much cooler than mine.
I was really stoked on it. Yeah, I also remember seeing Guar when I was like 13 or 14, and I was really stoked about that too. But, yeah.
Yeah, that would be quite a show. I don't know how you're going to compare, but good luck.
I mean, I can't. I did not grow up going to concerts, so actually within the last 2 years is the first concerts I've gone to, and I think the Midnight was technically first. Really amazing concert. You can't go wrong with having a saxophone show up on stage while they're playing synth music. And then Choir Boy shortly after that with Eli, actually. So 2 pretty solid firsts if I was going to go to any concerts, which I have now.
Okay. And before we run out of time, can you do a quick station ID for us? This is Fox 11. You're listening to KPSU.
This is Fox 11. You're listening to KPSU.
Nailed it.
Yes.
Nice. Thank you so much. Do you want to take the last 30 seconds to play a quick little riff to play us off?
Yeah, let's do that Father song thing.
Okay. And then, yep, and I will cut you off in about 30 seconds.